Hello everybody, my name is Andrew Casey at Hypersanity Books, and today's video is Newbie BOOKTUBE tag, because that seems to be the way to say, hey, I'm a noob to this kind of thing. I'll try not to edit and cut this video, just keep it more authentic, and I'll just be answering certain questions that other authors have done for top 10s, or book enthusiasts, booktubers, whatever you want to say. Question 1. Why start this channel? Well, I've always wanted to start a YouTube channel, more so talking about books. This has more frequently happened more recently. I wanted to publish a book first, get a lot more experience, see what other people are doing, and in the last couple months it seems to be the time to get started. I have been enjoying this process, therefore this is something I'm seeing to keep doing for years to come. Question 2. What does Hypersanity mean? This is the business logo. My wife designed the logo just before the time getting my book published. Needed to come up with a business name, mostly for tax and legal purposes. Also, it's just a banner to go under, and it works in really well. Hypersanity is another terminology you hear of. The best way to explain it, you have sanity being a working clock, i.e. to tick, whereas insanity is a clock that isn't working, i.e. to tick. Hypersanity is the person looking at the clock and understanding its function in deeper detail. Hypersanity also gets referenced into being so sane you appear insane to everyone else, breaking away from the norm of society. I feel in a lot of ways that YouTube does that. I feel authors do that in general, to break away from the norm of mainstream society. That also being said, the business name, my wife more came up with the name because I was stuck trying to think of something. I am a plotter, whereas she is a pantser. She likes to just get things done. I like to think of things a little bit more structured. Either ways, I'm not on the argument to disagree or agree. Both are equally good in different ways and strength in different ways. Hypersanity also gets referenced a lot with the Joker, if you're familiar with Batman. Heath Ledger's Joker is probably the best example of hypersanity, where, as he said so himself, he is ahead of the curve. That has a lot of references in that particular film. There are a lot of references to hypersanity with the Joker, and even a lot of mental health professionals discuss this topic. I work in with a psychologist as well after writing the first book, but that's another story and shall be told another time. Question 3, types of content. The most common content I want to do on this channel is book reviews. With the book reviews I want to focus on is permission from authors to review their book on this channel. I don't want to do anything if it's a low star rating, if I don't feel like the book is that good, or whether it's a sort of book I really just couldn't approve of. There are books I do put down and do not pick up. That all being said, some books I may not review just because workload may be growing as it is at the moment. That all being said, if you have a book that you've published, please put something in the comments. I am through different forms of social media. There is a way to communicate, we can discuss, and I can do a review on the book. The reviews are not to be complete spoilers, a little bit of a breakdown of certain books, likes, a little bit of dislikes, constructive criticism, but mostly likes because I'm not a completely bad guy or a monster, but I'm also not a complete people pleaser. That all being said, with book reviews I have put a few up online. The content is different because each book is different and should be reviewed differently, and at the end of the day they are just opinions of myself. I generally keep to 3.5. I jump it up to 4 stars to review. I will purchase books on Amazon. So if you want me to review your book, I do purchase through ebook. The only time I purchase through Kindle Unlimited for free is if I cannot actually purchase the book with a dollar tag to it. Otherwise, I think people should be paid for their craft. The other type of question 4, other content. I would like to do other videos on how to write, different subject matter, different content on writing, different subjects that may help to be creative. Sometimes you might hear of a subject matter, such as empaths, narcissism, dark empaths. These sorts of subjects can require a little bit more discussion, and it may help with your creative process, or it may not. It's just trying to create some content. I won't be doing as much of those sorts of videos as I intend to with video reviews. And as I was saying previously with the reviews, seeking more author permission before just doing a review. Number 5, profession. I am an assistant in nursing. I work in with geriatrics. I was looking at getting into pediatrics. However, I am just happy where I'm at, and my job is good. There is a big need for the type of profession I'm in. A lot of people, a lot of nurses want to get into pediatrics. I'm just right where I'm at. Maybe at a later date I might do more volunteer work, part-time, something like that. At the moment I'm just staying within aged care, or as some say, geriatrics. Published books, only the one published book, just pulling up a screenshot. Dark Sparrow, subtitled The Mastermind. I released this book, it came out into paperback form in early 2020. It was actually scheduled for the London Book Fair in 2020. However, COVID has interrupted that from happening. So I was planning to go overseas for the first time to London, looking forward to it, and that's just not going to happen for a while. That's where working more online is what I prefer to do. Next question, traditional or self-published? I like traditional published books to some degree. I like self-published books because I like the creativity breaking the norm. I feel a lot of self-published books do be more authentic to the creativity of the author. I had the option of publishing through a couple publishing houses where I got accepted. However, the conditions that came with it, there was a particular part where, cutting to the chase, the main protagonist, Dark Sparrow, bounty hunter, she's 22, falls in love in a part of the story with another character's father. So there's a 30-year age gap. There is other content on relationships within the book. This was asked to be altered to turning one of the other characters to be the father's Maxwell Turner, to be turned into a female, to have an age gap lesbian relationship. I rejected the idea. With the book, it's not about trying to please everyone else. The characters were very close to my heart, and with the way a lot of publishing also goes, if they want to pull the plug, they pull the plug on your projects. Whereas with self-publishing, you can have a few bad days, a couple books you can put your heart into and they just don't quite work out. I would rather keep going with the creativity, whichever way it's going to unfold, than to submit to other ideas that are not my own. On the subject matter of LGBT rights, I'm not getting into a subject of saying I'm for it, I'm against it. I'm not trying to argue. Just with the creativity of the characters for this particular story, they were too close to my heart for such a drastic change. And it wasn't relevant to the particular subject matters within the story. As far as my book Dark Sparrow, The Mastermind goes, whether you read it or not, I would suggest just looking at one part of the book, bringing up a screenshot. Discussion about this is about relationships and what we need to discuss in early stages. As you can see by the bullet points, at the top of the list is custody, if we're talking family court. Parenting are the two hardest subjects to talk about with people. Then it's religion, politics, and there's a lot of words down the line. The idea of it is to be a trigger for the reader. This is more of a discussion about relationships where we should be honest and open at the beginning of a relationship, building the foundations, and that's saying that both people are, because some subject matter can come up in a relationship later on, and if you've already had a general discussion on a lot of this sort of topic, it is a good way of keeping a relationship foundated, as opposed to other relationships that are mentioned where someone's in a relationship long term and finds out that their spouse is married. That is a very hard one to bite. Next question. Genre. I like all different genres. I have written fantasy / a little bit of sci-fi with little bit of comical crime in it. However, I'm pretty open-minded to a lot of craft. Even a few romance novels was my least favourite genre, and there are a couple I have read that have been surprisingly a little bit more realistic. That also being said, I have met a lot of authors doing reviews, and it has been a really good experience. So I am looking forward to reading a lot more books, and that's one other reason I like self-publishing. I feel getting closer to the author on the discussion of their craft as opposed to traditional authors. Now, I'm not saying I'm against, I'm for, it's just a matter of opinion, being able to get to know who you're doing a review for. So yeah, that's within the author community. I've met quite a few. I've so far now done 2 reviews for 2 full-time authors. I'm about to do a 3rd review for a YouTuber that's a lot bigger channel, obviously. And yeah, just keep connecting with other authors. And I'm looking forward to doing more reviews. As I was saying, it's just a simple generalized review, nothing too much more to that. Check out a few of the videos and see what I've done if you have any other suggestions of what you would like for your video. Next question, rating average. My rating average minimal. I don't like to go 3 stars. Sometimes I will. Most of the time 3.5, and I'll bump it up to 4 stars for Amazon, for Goodreads, etc. My average rating is about 4.3 stars. I do commonly give out a lot of 5 stars. I'm not too how can I say it, strict on a particular craft. The end of the day, there is a lot of work that's gone into it, and sometimes there is a wow factor in certain books, and sometimes there's really no wow factor or any sort of uniqueness to characterization. Sometimes even the setting can be inspiring to getting a 4 or 5 star rating. It's just all different books in how they work. I have also reviewed one non-fiction book. I am looking forward to more, if they're accepted, for me to do reviews on. And last but not least, social media. I am on, obviously, YouTube, TikTok. I'm on TikTok. You can inbox me on TikTok. Just send a link to be connected so it works. I am on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram. I tried Tumblr, it didn't go anywhere, and I'm only new to it, so I may do something with Tumblr, I may not. Otherwise, yeah, comment on this video if you would like me to review your book. Otherwise, without editing to this video, that's it for today. Please hit like, subscribe, comment, send me any sort of link if you would like me to review your book. Otherwise, I'll see you all around on the internet. Thank you. Bye.